Hello dear students, welcome to a new episode. In this episode, we'll be learning about the rotation. As you can see in front of you on the screen, the rotation is the movement either clockwise or counterclockwise. Rotation is determined completely if we know the following elements: the center of rotation, the measure of the angle of rotation, the direction of rotation. Let's check this remark. The measure of rotation angle is positive if the rotation is anti-clockwise, and it's negative if the rotation is clockwise. Let's go to finding the image of polygon by rotation. The opposite figure shows how to find the image of triangle ABC by the rotation R, where A, negative 120 degrees, by finding the image of each vertex of its vertices. Then triangle A, B', C' is the image of triangle ABC by rotation RA negative 120. Let's go to exercise number 1. In the opposite figure, ABCD is a square whose diagonals intersect at point M. X, Y, Z, L are the midpoints of the sides AB, BC, CD, and DA respectively. Find the image of triangle AXM by rotation R M90, then mention what you observe. So the image of AXM will be triangle DLM. As you can see, AXM is here. When you rotate it 90 degrees, it becomes DLM. Question 2. The image of each of AB segment and DC segment by rotation R M-90. So for question 2, the image of AB becomes BC segment and the image of DC becomes AD segment. Question 3, the image of each of points B, Y, and C by rotation RM 180, so the rotation of B becomes point D, the rotation of Y becomes point L, the rotation of C becomes point A. Let's now check the rotation in the Cartesian plane. The image of the point XY by rotation around 0 and 90, it has a quarter turn. So the point becomes negative y and x. By rotation around O, with an angle of measure negative 90 or 270, the point becomes y negative x. By the rotation O positive or negative 180, it has half a turn, so the point becomes negative x negative y, where the rotation R O plus or minus 360, it remains as it is, so it's the point XY. Let's now go to exercise number 2. In exercise number 2, the question wants me to complete the table. For the point 3, 2, if there is a rotation R0 plus or minus 180, it becomes negative 3, negative 2, because we know that the rotation plus or minus 180, it's negative x, negative y. So we change the signs of x and y. Where its rotation 0, 90, it becomes negative y and x. So this one is negative 2 and 3. For the second point, 5 and 2, the same thing. This one will become negative 5, negative 2, where the other rotation will become negative 2 and 5. The third point, what point if rotated 0 plus or minus 180 becomes 4, negative 2? Yes, excellent, we change the signs. So it's negative 4 and 2, where the rotation 0, 90 will be negative 2, negative 4. Then the last one, 6, negative 2. This one becomes here negative 2, negative 6, and the rotation plus or minus 180 becomes 2 and 6. Let's now go to exercise number 3. On the square lattice, draw triangle ABC, where these are the coordinates of A, B, and C. First requirement is to draw triangle A-B-C-, which is the image of ABC by rotation R, 0, 90. If you draw it, here is triangle A-B-C', where point A dash will be 1, 1, point B dash will be negative 2, 2, and point C dash will be negative 3, 4. Negative y, x. The second question is to draw triangle A'-B'-C', which is the image of triangle ABC by rotation R, O, 180. So each of these points, we're going to change the x and the y by negative x, negative y. So here is the drawing of it, where A double dash is negative 1, 1, B double dash is negative 2, negative 2, and C double dash is negative 4, negative 3. Exercise number 4. Question wants me to find the image of triangle AXO by reflection in AO, followed by another reflection in LO. So triangle AXO will become triangle ALO, then will be moved to triangle DLO. Question number 2. The image of triangle AXO by rotation R0, 90, so it will be triangle BYO. Exercise number 5, to complete each of the following. Number 1, the image of the point 2, negative 3 by rotation about the origin point with an angle of measure 90 degrees is, yes, excellent, it's 3, 2, and with an angle of measure 180 will be negative 2 and 3. Question 2, the image of the point negative 1 and 0 by rotation about the origin point with an angle of measure 90 degrees becomes 0, negative 1, and with an angle of measure 360 remains as it is as negative 1, 0. The point 3, negative 2 is the image of the point 2, 3 by rotation about the origin point with an angle of measure, excellent, negative 90 degrees. Question 4, the image of point what by rotation about the origin point with an angle of 90 degrees becomes negative 1 and 4. Yes, excellent, it's 4, 1. Question 5, the image of the point what by rotation about the origin point with an angle of negative 180 is 5, negative 2. Yes, it's negative 5 and positive 2. Question 6, the image of the point negative 3 and 7 by rotation 90 degrees about the origin point followed by reflection in y-axis will become what? Excellent, it's 7, negative 3. Let's now check our understanding by moving to the evaluation part. The image of the point negative 3 and 7 by rotation 90 degrees about the origin point followed by reflection on the x-axis is what? So negative 3, 7. First of all, we need to find the rotation. Rotation around 90 degrees around the origin will be negative yx. So the rotation becomes negative 7, negative 3. After that, you would do the reflection across the y-axis. So we change the sign of x, it becomes 7, negative 3. So the right answer here is 7, negative 3. Question 2, the image of the point negative 2, 0 by translation x plus 3 y minus 1 followed by rotation about the origin point with an angle of 90 degrees is what? First of all, let's first find the translation. Each x I add 3 to it and each y I subtracted by 1. So when you do the translation, it becomes negative 2 plus 3 is 1, and then 0 minus 1 is negative 1. After that, you do the rotation about the origin point with an angle of measure 90 degrees. It's negative y and x, so this becomes 1 and 1. Question 3. The rotation with an angle of measure 90 degrees about the origin point maps the point x negative y onto what point? Excellent. It's y, x. We change the y, x as it is, and we replace the y with the x and the x with the y. Question 4. The image of AB is the same point by rotation about the origin point with an angle measure of excellent 360 degrees. By solving the evaluation part, we came to the end of our session. Thank you very much. Wishing you best of luck.